Our local, we represent not just Verizon, but we have also Verizon Supply Logistics, and there's some members here from logistics that I want to thank also for coming out, and they've watched their work just leave that building, and we know that work is still needed. And who's doing it? Contractors. And just like in this building here, one of the reasons why we came to this building, work is also being moved from here back to Indiana, Arizona, India. Shame on Verizon for taking good work, good union jobs away from the community. We had representatives that wanted to be here, some city council folks and other representatives, but because the schedules couldn't. But as T said, there's going to be more rallies, and we're going to be hearing a lot more, and you'll be seeing a lot more people getting involved. But talking about how AT&T and how they were a wealthy company, so is Verizon, and not just Verizon as a whole, but our CEO is a very wealthy man. And if you didn't take a look at this rat. See, when this rat was going around from AT&T local to AT&T local, they named him Stanley the Rat. Randall the Rat. Randall Stevenson is the CEO for AT&T. And so now we've nicknamed him now Ivan the Rat for Ivan Seidenberg. And let me tell you something. This guy made 20 million last year, over 20 million. 333,127 dollars. You know how many workers that could be supported by Ivan Seidenberg's package? That could pay 12 Nobel Prize winners, 50 average university presidents, 50 US presidents, 74 AFL-CIO presidents, 108 chairmen of Joint Chiefs of Staff, 499 average workers, and 1,348 minimum wage workers. One of the things that blew me away on these statistics is, do you know how long it would take me or you to make that kind of money working here? We'd have to work here into 2508 AD. And this guy made that in 1 year. And this is the same guy that's going to be instructing his lawyers and his people from their bargaining table to take back whatever they can from us. Why? Corporate greed. The good book says that corporate greed is the root of all evil. And I believe it. And I see it. I see it every day when I speak to a member. When I'm on the phone with somebody, I see that corporate greed and how it's putting the pressure on us, and how it's almost like a sickness, a cancer that spreads real fast because of the stress, because of what we're afraid to do, because we may lose our jobs. And it's disgusting. Just like union busting is disgusting. And speaking on union busting, out of our local, we have some brothers and sisters right now that are in some turmoil. They work for a company named Safetran, another very wealthy company, a global company that's owned by a company named Invinsys Systems that are operated out of Britain. We were just notified this past week that they're going to go ahead and shut down Safetran, which, by the way, has been organized in our local for over 30 years. They're going to shut down this plant, displace over 150 employees, and move the work to Reynosa, Mexico, and to a non-union shop in Kentucky, Marion, Kentucky. And it's not because they're in the red. It's not because the folks at Safetran don't do a good work, because they do. They make an average of over $4 million a year for this company. But the reason why is because they'll save $4.4 million by moving the work to Kentucky and to Mexico. It's not that they can't afford to keep it open, because they can. And they admit it to us. Oh yeah, well we can. Absolutely we can. We're in no way in any type of hurting situation. But it's this kind of acts, it's this kind of corporate greed that sooner or later America's got to wake up. And we got to take to the streets. And it's going to take a revolution. A revolution that hasn't happened in America. Why? Because we're afraid of our government. Why? Because in our schools, in our upbringing, we're taught not to question, but to comply. To say, yes sir, yes ma'am. Well, I don't know about you, but my grandpa, when he moved us over here, and not here, but when he moved us to Indio, I don't know why in the hell he picked Indio, but for whatever reason, that's where we landed. When he was on the run from Mexico, and then got in trouble in Texas, and we had to flee Texas, we had landed in Indio, okay? He never was a yes sir kind of person. He was the kind of person that you pissed him off, he'll cut you. And if he couldn't cut you, then he'll shoot you. My grandpa was a cowboy. Indian, but a cowboy. He didn't play. And he raised us not to play. And I don't know what it's going to take for people to wake up. But I think it's happening. I think the financial situation that America is in, people are finally starting to realize that these banks, that these large corporations have just been taking advantage of us. Day in and day out. And I don't think anybody standing here is going to take it anymore. But it's going to take more than just us standing here. It's going to take our families. It's going to take our neighbors. So in these next 211 days, we need to begin to reach out. We need to start getting back into our communities. Last night in our local, we had a community service meeting.